Alfred Adler spoke a lot about how we, as individuals, are unified holistic beings, guided by personal and subjective goals rather than deterministic forces beyond our control. This school of thought of his, individual psychology, emphasized the unique creative power of the individual over their life and offered a profound point of view to examine personal agency, social belonging, and purpose. Among his key tenets, the ones I found most interesting were the ideas that people's subjective perceptions shape their behavior and personality, and that each person's style of life is molded by their own creative power. I was drawn to them, particularly, because of how familiar they sounded, like a certain phrase repeated in one of the most popular video game franchises of all time, with some of the best games from my childhood, Assassin's Creed.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. We work in the dark, to serve the light. We are assassins.
As a series, Assassin's Creed has always felt more philosophical than one would expect. Since the very first entry, between all the action and style, running, climbing, and killing in an immersive backdrop against the Third Crusade and the Holy Lands, the main character, Altair, was meditating on freedom, choice, and responsibility, concepts that closely mirrored Adler's psychology. The assassins believe that nothing is true, everything is permitted, not as a call to chaos, but as an awakening to human agency. To recognize that nothing is true is to see just how fragile the systems around us are. Beliefs, traditions, and hierarchies that exist simply because we accept them. To see that everything is permitted is to accept the creative power we hold, to act, to decide, to shape who we become. Like Adler, they too held that we are not fixed by circumstance, but instead guided by our own interpretations of the world, our own creed. For a long time, my personal creed was built on the pursuit of becoming someone others could admire. Someone cool, capable, and surrounded by friends. I thought that my goal was perfection. To be skilled in every field, to be strong in every challenge, to be proud in everything I saw myself in. But, as Adler would say, that was only an early, fictional, final goal that I had set for myself. A story I wrote to compensate for what I felt was missing. What I truly sought, it seemed, wasn't superiority, but connection. A sense of belonging and a sharing of meaning. Over time, as I met people who made me feel seen and understood, I began to realize that this was my final goal all along. The pride I thought I wanted was just a mask for my loneliness. What healed me wasn't achievement, but understanding. Quietly reassuring myself that I wasn't alone in the world I was trying to find myself in. Now, I see my life less as a quest for glory and more a journey towards harmony. The assassins, after all, didn't fight for their personal victories, but for humanity's freedom to choose its own path. In somewhat the same way, I don't feel the need to prove myself above others. I'd much rather help, protect, strive for a kind of collective success, the peace that comes from growing together. I may not be an assassin, fighting the Templars who are trying to control humanity, but I would like to think I share their same wish of a world that's just a little bit more free. For me, and for the people around me, and for everyone else, too. Just like the assassins who walk unseen, yet carry the fates of humanity on their shoulders, I've come to value quiet impact, rather than glory and recognition. I don't need to lead the charge or hold the high ground. It's enough for me to stand beside the people I care about and keep moving together. Adler's psychology, much like the philosophy of the assassins, calls us to see that our perceptions define our reality, and our choices give that reality meaning. In the end, both Adler and the Assassin's Creed teach a similar truth. We are the architects of our lives, bound not by fate, but by the convictions we choose to live by. To live with freedom and responsibility, to act with conscience, and to bear the weight of those actions is what it means to be human, and how one walks the path of an assassin and follows the Assassin's Creed.